We're here with Marilyn Rue, who is actually a previous neighbor of mine in Davidson, and we're really excited to have her on the show. She has truly an amazing story, which I actually could picture as a very good book, so I encourage you one day to write a book about it. So.
Thank you. I actually thought about writing a book myself, and when I came back from Ivory Coast, and I just need someone to help me to do so, and it's something that I really like to do.
Well, tell the viewers a little bit about your life story, because it is a very interesting story in terms of how you grew up and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. I was born in Ivory Coast in 1966, and my dad was a Caucasian chemist in Ivory Coast, and my mother was a young village woman. And I left Ivory Coast when I was 1 year old. I was really sick. They brought me back to France. My dad brought me back to France, and I went from my grandparents to uncles and aunts, and finally my godmother and her husband and two sons.
Because your father passed away earlier.
Later on, yes. They took care of me when my dad went back to work as a chemist, and then I went to school and they raised me, and so my dad when he was on vacation, and my dad passed away when I was 7, and they adopted me. My godmother adopted me with the agreement of my mother in Africa, and so I went to school and went to the Chamber of Commerce in Paris, and I got recruited to go to Epcot Center at Disney World for a year, work there in Florida for a year, and then I became a flight attendant with United Airlines, where I met my husband. And we first lived in Chicago, then California, and then ended up here in Charlotte, Davidson.
Now, you've been doing sports all your life, so you started off doing gymnastics. And how did your whole sports career transition now? Because you're training for the Olympics, so.
Yes, I started with gymnastics when I was young. Then I played team handball with my friends.
Oh, that's an interesting sport.
And did a little bit of track and field to help my friend who was doing it more seriously than me. And I did some, what else did I do? I did taekwondo. I grew up skiing. I played some soccer. And but really my first love is running, and it's coming back to me at a later age now.
Yeah, you didn't really start running competitively until fairly late, right?
Right, I started at age 37 with triathlons. That's when I started it.
And how did you decide to get that into it all of a sudden?
Well, I was still breastfeeding with my last son, my third child, and I was reading Cooking Light magazine, and there was a sample of a triathlon, and I went through the magazine, and something came to my mind. I'm like, I have to go back to that. So I went back to it and looked at it, and I'm like, oh, that would be doable. I should try. It looks like fun, and that's when I started it. And I guess it brought back the competitive edge in me, which I always had. And I went to Hawaii to the age group world championship, and then from a bet from my best friend in France, her dad, who was our coach when I was young, told me, you should do track and field and go to the world championship in Italy. I will be 70 years old and you will be 40. And I thought it was a great bet. And I just say, okay, yes, I will do that. And that's when running got back into me, the passion for it. And I really started track when I was 40, actually.
So that's when it became more serious. You finished well in the World Cup at, what was it, 10th place? Or?
Yes, exactly.
And is that when it kind of flipped now, it became a serious?
Exactly. It just grew and grew, and with my African trip and experience and the sacrifice that my mom did by just letting me go, I wanted to do something as big to her, a big sacrifice like she did for me. And I thought training for something so amazing that all the Olympics would be a nice tribute for her. And things start to be put together, and they're working for me. And
now, which events are you training for the Olympics?
Well, it all depends. I talked to the Ivory Coast coach yesterday, and it all depends what they would need. That could be the relay, that could be 100 meter would be more, but I really exactly don't know yet.
How are you training for it?
I have two coaches, one coach in the West Coast and one here. I just go to the track every day, shine or rain, and loving it.
So how do you manage being a mom and having boys that have their own demands and activities
And she
training
teaches
for
yoga.
teaching
She
yoga,
teaches yoga,
training for the Olympics?
I don't know. If I sit and I watch myself, I will go, how does she do it? No, day by day, take one day at a time is my motto. And I have a very, very supportive husband that is helping me with the children going to soccer and at home. And I know I can leave on trip for 10 days and things going to be fine. And I think we really organize and plan ahead things, and I make sure that I'm there for my children on the weekend and have no training event, but I can see them, watch them play soccer and enjoy.
And they're all very athletic too.
Yes, they are, and
boys.
it's fun to watch them. I love it.
Now, how was it growing up in France? And you were growing up with a white family in France. So how was it living there? And
Well, it was. I did live in a white community, and going to school, colored people were very rare. So I got teased a lot, but I think it really built my character and made me who I am today, which I'm grateful for. So it was a challenge, but I did it. I was fine.
And talk a little bit about your mother now. And you said now you want to do this for your mother. When did you talk to her? When did you? I mean, I know it's a hard thing probably to talk about, but
Yes.
and it made you who you are. So talk about how you finished up with your mom. And
When I was 18 years, I grew up with. It was taboo to talk about my heritage, so I didn't really know about who I was. I think that I denied my heritage in a way, and that's why I was comfortable around white people, because I really look at myself. I felt white. I didn't know better, and I think at 18 I got the urge of I need to know my roots. I need to go back there, and I went to the embassy of Ivory Coast, and I wrote a letter, and it took some time for them to find my mother again, and month later, I received a letter that somebody else wrote because she could not write or read, and with a picture of her, and that was a shock, because you grew up and you picture your mom,
Right.
And I did not look a thing to that person I was seeing in the picture. So it was, for a while, I just denied it. I put the picture away. I was like, this is not my mother, until I think I needed to process, and that's the way we got connected. Then I keep writing, and we got one phone call. I heard her voice one time only, and it was very difficult. It was very emotional, and but her voice was like a child voice, and I just cherish that moment because that's all I have with her.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, how can the viewers help you with your goals? I mean, you got a phenomenal, track record, and you're going for the Olympics now. How can the people in this area support you?
Well, I have a PayPal account, so if you type my email, trymom@hotmail, you can.
So TRI?
mom, MOM @hotmail.com. If you Google me, I think you can find my email.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of great articles about you.
Thank you.
Marilyn Roux. Well, we wish you a lot of success.
Thank you so
we will
much.
follow you, and
Yeah.
we want to have you back on.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you so
for
much.
coming on.
Thanks for coming on.